Right, we'll start at the front. I've got some cherry tomatoes. Any tomatoes would do. I'm only using cherry tomatoes because I got them cheap. So that's what we're using. Half a cucumber, a couple of sticks of celery, a little block of cheese. That's probably half of one of those little blocks that you buy in a supermarket. I've got a carrot, a whole carrot that we're going to grate down in a minute. Now I've got some pickled chilies. Now I don't put these in the salad because my wife and my grandson does not like it. So I put them on the side of my plate for later. Some olives, exactly the same. My little grandson doesn't care for olives, so I leave them out, but I put them on mine. An iceberg lettuce, or you can use a romaine lettuce, or those little baby gems. Any sort of lettuce, but you need a bit of a crunch to them. Some ham. I'm just using some dry cured Yorkshire ham because that's what we had in the fridge. A little bit of coriander. This is what makes it so Moorish, is a tin of sweet corn drained. Now you want the naturally sweet ones. You don't want the ones with aspartame, you know, the sweetener. You know what I'm talking about. I don't know if I mentioned onion and celery. And all I'm going to do with this is just chop it up. Put it all into a bowl. I'm going to grate the cheese and I'm going to grate the carrot. I'm probably only going to use half of that lettuce because it is quite a large lettuce. The ham, I'll chop it all up. Now, like I say, if you're a vegetarian, just leave the ham out of it. It's perfect. That's it. We'll get chopping. Now, I've put a damp one of them old sponge cloths. It's an old worn out one. I like to put them on the bench that you're going to be cutting with, and then put your chopping board on top. That will stop your chopping board from sliding around. Let's see if you can get a better angle. That's slightly better. Now all we're going to do is we're going to fill this bowl with chopped up salad. And we can start with the lettuce. A little handy hint with lettuce. Instead of coring it all or cutting it into quarters and such like, the easiest way, put your 2 thumbs on there, push it down, and that's your core, comes straight out. So now you've got an empty core. So, handy little hint. Now I always have a habit of sharpening my knives before I do anything. I think that's why I go through so many knives. Right, I'll just cut that. Like I say, we'll just use half of it. So we'll use this half, cut it into quarter. I'll cut it again because we don't really want slices. We want it chopped. So then we'll just chop it up. And then in the bowl it goes. And in fact, that is quite a lot of lettuce in there already, as you can see, and that's just quarter of the lettuce. So we'll do the same with this. And straight in the bowl. Now the cucumber, that's the easy one. Just chop the end off, and then we just cut it into strips like that. So you want it that thickness. Then we just cut that into strips. Then we can just chop it up So you're ending up with pieces about that size, say your thumbnail size. And then we'll just crack on and do that. I'll do the rest of that in a minute. The tomatoes, dead easy. Just cut down one side and cut it in half, because they're just cherry tomatoes. But if you've got full-size tomatoes, you just want them about that size. And I'll do these later on. That's just showing it. And then the onion, we don't want great big lumps of onion, because there's nothing worse than getting a mouthful of onion and nothing else. So we'll dice it up. So I've sliced it that way. I've kept a little bit of the root on, and then we'll slice it that way. So now that is a grid. Then we just cut down like that. Can you see how that is? There we go. I'll only use half an onion because they are quite a large onion. And I got these from the farm. We have a local farm that we can go pick vegetables up from. And you can't pick and choose, they're in a box and that's it. And I tell you what, I've never once been unhappy. So I recommend try and find your local farm to get your veg. Right, celery again. We're looking to cut it into sticks just because we want everything virtually the same size. So you're not really chewing on it, you're doing the work for people. Then we'll just cut it up. There we go. I may as well do this one while we're at it. Saves going back to it later, won't it? Now you don't have to do it this way. I've just got the point on the chopping board and I'm just doing that. I'm just doing a rocking motion, but if you want you can do it this way. Lifting your knife off the board, you do lose a slight bit of control of the knife, but if you feel a bit better doing it this way, just do it that way. But it's strange to say, it's not strange to say, but I've worked in kitchens for over 40 years now, professional kitchens, and I promise you, the only time I've seen people cut themselves badly is when they're using a blunt knife, because what they're doing is they're putting far too much force on the knife. They're trying to push it through rather than cut it. So we've started off. I know I haven't done all the cucumber, I haven't done all the tomato, but I'll do that once we've stopped videoing. That's the tin of sweet corn. It was naturally sweet corn. I just drained it off, and that can go in. And now literally I've got half a lettuce, a tin of sweet corn, a couple of sticks of celery, half an onion, and we've nearly got a full bowl. And that's a good sized bowl. So you can see how cheap and cheerful this, once you've made the pita breads and filled the pita breads, you'll be lucky, I promise you, you'll be lucky if you can eat 2 of the pita breads filled. So we're looking at making a dozen pita breads. If every person has 1.5 each, you're still looking at feeding quite a few, 7 or 8 people. Right, and then it's just the ham. And obviously I've got to grate the cheese and grate the carrot. But the ham, I'll just roll it into a cylinder. I'll cut it a couple of times that way, turn it around a bit, and then just cut it that way. Any meat would do. You could use I know I shouldn't be saying this, but you could use turkey ham. You could even no, I'm not going to go there. I was going to say some of that Quorn pretendy ham, but no, that's going a bit too far. And then I've got my handy grater. Just grate the carrot. Now I'm using the large side of the grater, because that hopefully will make it a very similar size to what everything else in the bowl will be. I hate grating stuff because I always end up grating my thumb. So if you see blood in a minute, don't worry, it's just natural. It's just normal. Oh, right. There's a grated carrot. I'll do the same with the cheese. I'm sure you know how to grate cheese. Once I get into the wrapping of it, I wrap things too much. Right, I'll grate that and then I'll finish off the cucumber, finish off the tomatoes, put them all in the bowl, and then we'll come back and you can have a look and see what it looks like when it's all mixed up. Right, that's the last of the tomatoes cut up. I'm just cutting them up into the same size as everything else. These can go in. And then there's a grated cheese that I put in, and we'll just give it a good mix. That I would say at the very most this cost me £3, maybe £4, but it's going to feed a lot of people. So I'm just bringing the lettuce up from down the bottom, give it a good mix up, and then, because I had them, another shell cap over the top, into the fridge. That's the salad done. Now, it has taken no more than at the most 10 minutes to cut all that up. It might take you a little bit longer, but remember, always use a sharp knife. Use a sharp knife, less accidents. Right, we're going to have a look at the bread dough now. Yeah guys, here we go. There's a pitta bread that we made. There's a dozen there. There's the bread buns I mentioned earlier on. That's the chopped salad we did. And that's some hummus. If you hang on till the end of the video, you'll get to find out how to make it's butterbean hummus. All we do is just put some of this lovely salad in there. As you can see, you can easily fill 8 of these, and that is really stuffed full. I'm doing this one for me, so I like a couple of pickled chilies, some olives, and I'll put a little bit of the chopped coriander. Now if you like, you can put a little bit of olive oil on there, but if not, there we go. Now I can eat 2 of these if I try, but most human beings can only eat 1. Cheers! Here's a quick hummus recipe. It's using broad beans, not chickpeas. So you need some olive oil, some tahini, which is sesame paste, a couple of cloves of garlic, salt and pepper, and a lemon. That's it. The method is literally peel your 2 garlic cloves, crush them down a little bit, put them into your blender or food processor with a good glug of olive oil, salt and pepper, and then blend it down. Once you've blended it for a couple of minutes, well, a minute I would say, and you want to try and get it as smooth as possible, add 2 teaspoons, good dollops of teaspoons, of tahini, which is sesame paste. Get it on all supermarkets. And then put your drained butter beans into your blender and just blend it down. You don't want to get it to a very, very fine puree. I like mine with a few little lumps in it, but puree it the way you want. The last thing you need to do is just put a very good squeeze, say half a lemon juice, half of a lemon into it, give it a stir, put it into a dish, and that's it. As you can see here, I've just put a bit of extra virgin olive oil over it and squeezed the other half of the lemon over the top. A little bit of coriander chopped and a little bit of smoked paprika on the top. That's it. Looks good and it tastes fantastic. Right, that's the pita bread salad, and I'm just going to put a bit of this lovely hummus that's made from butter beans rather than chickpeas. And it's got lemon, olive oil, some tahini in there, a little bit of smoked paprika on the top, and that's it. Cheers!